it's so much safer to have it in a place like that rather than scattered out all over the country like it is.
Right.
Let's look at federal immigration policy if we could. Do you support comprehensive immigration reform, and would you talk both about guest worker policy that we need, if you think we do, and also what we do about illegal immigrants who are already here, in many cases owning homes and in Iowa communities?
I mean, I don't think you can have any discussion about comprehensive immigration reform if you don't have the border secured, if you're not enforcing the law with employers. I mean, if you do those things, then I think you can have an intelligent conversation about the 11, 12 people who are in this country undocumented. Certainly, I think that if you have a willing employer and is not taking away jobs from U.S. citizens, that there should be a way of getting more visas for them to be able to come in and work on a legal basis. There's no question about it. We have, seasonal workers that need to be able to come in agriculture. You have some technical people that we could bring in, and that is a major stumbling point at this point as far as legal people coming in with a job on a legal basis today. And we've got to address that problem, I think.
So what would you do about the 10 or 12 million?
Well, I think you've got to have, again, you're not going to have the conversation even ever until you basically address the problems that are here in the system to begin with. And I think you would, if you could secure the border, if you could have enforcement of the law as far as employers are knowingly and hiring people that are undocumented, I think you'd see those numbers go down dramatically to begin with.
There have been government and media reports that suggest the border is more secure than it's ever been, and that you may never get to 100.
Which is not saying anything.
But how secure?
I mean, it's
what would satisfy you?
And it's not just about illegals coming in. I mean, it's certainly about all the drugs and the violence that brings with it today. But you've got.
How far do we have to go?
Well,
before we can get started on some of the other things.
I think you've got if in fact you could have it so that the southern border primarily was deemed secure, American people believe it, then I think you could have an intelligent conversation at what, using technology, using border patrol, all of these things to
much of
enhance
that's
that.
already in place.
They put up every roadblock, and it put last year in the appropriations bill put in a provision that said any local community, any individual, any county, any state could stop for environmental reasons, could stop protections being built along the border. So basically, I mean, it's public knowledge that there is no incentive, basically, with the administration to enforce the law or to secure the border. I mean, when Arizona tried it, they got sued.
What about the Senate?
And when Hillary, the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, reports Arizona to the UN as a human rights violation.
But Congressman,
because they're doing what the federal government's not doing.
Let's set aside the argument about whether the administration's trying hard enough to secure the border. Let's say the border is secured to your satisfaction. Then what will you do about, what would you like to do about the undocumented people in this country now? Would you give them a way to pay fines, pay back taxes if they owe them, and get in line?
I think they've got to get in line. And like I said, I do an awful lot of open public meetings. And the people who are most upset about this are people who have gone through the process legally, who have had to wait the 10 years to finally get their citizen or be able to come in the country. Those are the people who really find it very unfair for them to have gone through the process and to have other people step up and be able, by breaking the law, to jump ahead of other people in line. But you would
wholesale deport people.
I don't know how you could. I think the numbers would, like I said before, I think the numbers would go down dramatically if in fact you had a secure border and the laws were enforced here.
Should we make it easier or faster for people to achieve citizenship?
Absolutely. No, and the people who come into this country and want to contribute, if I had a family and I was down in, and most of the people now that are coming into the country illegally looking for work are from the southern part of Mexico and the very poor agricultural areas and other countries in Central America. If my family was starving, I would be the first one to do anything, whether I had to break the law to get over the border to find jobs so I could send back to feed my family. I mean, people get that, but the problem is that you have this whole element that goes along with that. I have the greatest respect for these people, but in fact they're breaking the law. And that's the thing we cannot forget, that we are a country of laws.
Could we change the law
To
allow
I guess you could. I don't see.
that?
Well, so you're going to open the borders entirely?
No, I didn't say that. I'm just
Well,
saying
that's what you have.
We put an artificial cap on how many people can come into this country.
I think that's what you have to look at is the
That's my
caps.
question,
Yeah.
is should we do that?
I don't think you can't open it up, but certainly you could look and have an intelligent conversation about it, what number that should be. And speeding up the process for people who, knowing employers have them come in on a legal basis, have them come in to work on a legal basis. That's really what it's about.
Let's turn to federal education policy quickly. No Child Left Behind is up for reauthorization. Do you like the law, and how do you think it ought to be changed, if it should be changed?
I think first of all you always have to remember that if it was states like Iowa, there would never have been a need for No Child Left Behind. It
Why do you
basically,
say that? Because, we aren't at the top of the National Assessment of Education
Well, not
progress
anymore.
like we used to.
right. No,
It's not, and we didn't start slipping, No Child Left Behind doesn't appear to be the factor in our slipping.
right.
So
I don't think it's done anything to help education in Iowa.
So how would you change it? What should the federal role be in education?
Primarily, as far as the funding stream, it has to do with Title I. It has to do with the disabled children as far as funding, special ed kids, the IDEA funding, Individual Disability Education Act, and to meet our commitments that originally were stated, like with the disabled children, special ed kids. The federal government was supposed to pay 40% of that. And, Senator Harkin, I've been in meetings with him when then Governor Vilsack was in Washington, where they'd get into an argument that Senator Harkin would say, well, it was only meant to be 40% of what a traditional student's cost was. It was never meant to be 40% of the special ed cost, which is a huge difference, obviously. And now he's talking differently, but that's what he used to argue in those meetings all the time. And he said that we are meeting our commitment. Well, it's not true. We're about 17, 18%. We should be at 40% as far as the federal mandate on the local school districts. As far as No Child Left Behind, I think the biggest problem is the evaluation. Right now, we're taking a snapshot of third graders every year, different kids in the third grade. What we should actually get a true evaluation of progress is to take a class starting in first grade, follow that class through the process.
I was actually doing that.
Well,
But
that's not with No Child Left Behind. It's the state.
The state got permission to do that
Right,
from the federal
right.
government.
But we're also stopping. I was over in Van Meter